Aloha kakahiaka and welcome to the 43rd session of the Hawaii County Council. The date today is June 17th, 2026, and we are meeting here at our Kona chambers at the West Hawaii Civic Center, with some members also joining remotely from our Hilo chambers at our Hilo Hawaii County building. To begin this morning's invocation, we have our pastor here. Pastor, please come forward.
Aloha. We gather this morning from different backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences, yet we're united by a shared commitment to the well-being of Hawaii County. Before we begin, I'm reminded of the words of Mother Teresa when she said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love." Today, the work before the council may consist of motions, discussions, votes, budgets, policies, and decisions, yet through such seemingly ordinary acts, communities are strengthened, lives are touched, and the future is shaped. Before the work of governance begins, let's take a moment to remember the values that support wise leadership and strong communities. We pause before the business of this day to remember the purpose that brings us together, service to the people of Hawaii County. May wisdom guide every discussion. May respect shape every disagreement. May compassion inform every decision. May courage support difficult choices. May each person present recognize that beyond the differing viewpoints lies a shared commitment to the well-being of this island and all who call it home. God is present everywhere, and we are connected in a larger life and common purpose. Divine nature fills all people with wisdom, dignity, and worth. Our thoughts shape our experiences so that we think clearly, constructively, and compassionately. Prayer aligns us with truth. May we listen deeply and discern wisely. As we live what we believe, may today's decisions become actions that serve the community. In the spirit of aloha, may we honor one another. In the spirit of kuleana, may we accept our responsibilities faithfully. In the spirit of malama, may we care wisely for our communities, lands, waters, and future generations. And in the spirit of lokahi, may we seek understanding and common purpose. May this meeting be guided by clarity, integrity, patience, goodwill, and may the work accomplished here today contribute to the health, prosperity, and harmony of Hawaii County. So we give thanks for the opportunity to serve and work together for the common good, as we humbly ask for guidance and wisdom. Amen.
Mahalo nui, Secretary Elaine Albertson of Unity of Kona for our invocation this morning. Calling this meeting to order, 9:04. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Galemba.
Here.
Councilmember Eustis.
Present.
Councilmember Kagiwara.
Here.
Councilmember Connie Lee Kleinfelder. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Present.
Councilmember Kimball.
Here.
Vice Chair Onishi.
Present.
Councilmember Villegas. Chair Inaba.
Eo.
Chair Inaba, you have 7 members present. We have quorum.
Thank you. Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand if you feel comfortable doing so. Mahalo, Mr. Clerk. We do not have any presentations this morning, so we'll proceed directly with statements from the public on agenda items.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'd like to note that we do have testifiers in your Hilo chamber in Waimea as well as via Zoom, and I do believe some here in Kona. What we'll do is we'll take a pair of testifiers in Hilo first, then in our remote sites, check in with Zoom, come back to Kona, and then we'll just repeat that until we've completed all our testifiers. So with that, Chair, if we could please get our first pair of testifiers in Hilo.
Good
Good morning. We have one testifier in Hilo at the moment. Lance Naimi speaking in opposition to Resolution 517. Mr. Naimi, you will have 3 minutes to give your testimony, and I will let you know when your time is up. Resolution 567, sorry.
Thank you for allowing me to testify here in Hilo this morning. Uh, I'm here because my family have been friends with the Lum family for a long time. My mom and dad knew Waylon's grandfather and his mom, and they did stuff like exchange flowers and stuff. And my father was a bulldozer operator for Glover. He did some land clearing for Waylon's family. Um, I I have heard periodically with contacts with Waylon about the concerns he had about what was happening with the roadway near his property, and I was kind of surprised when I saw in the paper that there was going to be a resolution condemning the property so that the roadway could be expanded to eminent domain process. And so I talked to Waylon, and my main concern was that his concerns were brought to the attention of the county council. And so he forwarded me his thoughts on it, and then I looked at it and I said, "Oh, I gotta support him." So I followed up, sent testimony to all of the council representatives, and I know Waylon followed up with a much more detailed follow-up. So the main objective today is to just get the word, his side of the story out to the county council. I think for me, the main issues were, condemnation, eminent domain is done because of the greater public good. And I looked at it and I asked Waylon questions like, what is the greater public good that you understand, And the land was condemned back in 2014. I think it was when there was the eruption, and there was a need for exit from that area if the eruption should come down and block off the highway. My understanding is that 6 years later, that was rescinded because there was no longer a threat. And I think there also was a Railroad Avenue thing that was built. So there was a continuous roadway from Hawaiian Beaches all the way to Maku. So when that changed, I understand that the property reverted to the original status, which is a 10-foot roadway that the county would maintain, but the rest of the property reverted to the original status, which was under the property owner's control. So anyway, my conversations with Waylon have mainly been when things happened, like he got burglarized a number of times. I go fishing down there sometimes. I see vehicles on the side of the road where the roadway is widened, and I also know that probably some people where there's access to parking. Is that my? Oh, my time is up. I should have cut it shorter. 10 seconds. Anyway, the main issue is just please consider to do what is right. I know Waylon has been trying to work this out. So my main concern is that Waylon and his family will be testifying Kona. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your testimony. At this time, we'll transition to Pahoa for their testifiers and then follow up with Waimea. Gloria, if you could lead us, please.
Good morning, everyone. We have Amadeo Markov here commenting in support of Bill 157 and 165. You have 3 minutes. Please restate your name for the record and let us know when you've transitioned.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the council. My name is Amadeo Markov. I am testifying today from Pahoa in strong support of Bill 157 relating to recovery and Bill 165 relating to PONC funding and stewardship. First, on Bill 157, coming from Puna, we know firsthand recovery really looks like not just not just immediately after disaster, but years later. Whether it's lava flows, earthquakes, infrastructure impacts, recovery is not a short-term process. It requires sustained commitment, flexibility, and resources that actually reach the communities most affected. This bill is important because it recognizes that recovery isn't just about rebuilding structures, it's about restoring communities, supporting families, and ensuring long-term resilience. I strongly urge you to support this measure so we can respond better and faster when the next event happens, and we all know it will. On Bill 165, related to the PUNC, as a commissioner on the Public Access Open Space Natural Resource Preservation Commission, I've had firsthand experience with both the strengths and shortcomings of the current system. The PUNC program is incredibly important. It protects access to our lands, preserves cultural and natural resources, and ensures future generations can experience what makes Hawaii special. The fund itself comes from a portion of real property taxes and is meant to support acquisition and stewardship of these lands. But right now, the program is under-resourced and constrained. Bill 165 addresses that by increasing the stewardship allocation, removing the artificial cap on funding, allowing funds to remain in the account instead of reverting away. These changes are critical. Without proper stewardship funding, we risk acquiring lands that we cannot properly maintain and protect. That defeats the purpose of preservation. Preservation through inaction is degradation. From my experience serving on PONC, it's been both rewarding and frustrating. Rewarding because of the impacts we can have, and frustrating because of the limitations we face under the current structure. This bill is a necessary fix. In closing, both of these bills are about taking care of Hawaii, our people, our lands, and our future. I respectfully urge you pass Bill 157 and Bill 165. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Our next testifier is Eileen O'Hara, also commenting in support of Bill 157 and 165. Please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes. That's when you transition.
My name is Eileen O'Hara, and thank you, Council, for listening to my testimony today. On Bill 157 about recovery, this is a great effort to organize a response that we didn't have together in 2018 when Puna was faced with the East Rift Zone lava event. So I really appreciate Councilwoman Kirkowitz for putting this bill up and for considering some amendments. I'm glad to see that the council has been brought into the loop in terms of the organization that needs to follow any emergency disaster. And I'm hopeful that we have language already in the code to include nonprofits in that response, because there's various nonprofits that are just critical to our good response times, including the CERT teams, A Vibrant Hawaii for putting up hubs, as well as groups like HVERY, previously known as Hawaii Tracker, which were better at messaging, say, than civil defense. So including all of these together gives us a good framework for responding to emergencies and how we deal with recovery. So I'm really in support of Bill 157. With regard to Bill 165, which is to introduce charter amendments on the upcoming ballot, I do support this fully. I've been, as my position at Malama Opuna 501c3 has been executive director for the last 6 years. We have participated as stewards in helping the county maintain its purchased PONC properties. I'm all for the amendments. I do agree that it needs to be clear that the funds that are taken from the real property tax revenues are done on an annual basis, and that there is a commitment by finance to have receive applications through the PONC Commission for the funding of the stewardship grants. And that needs to be very clear, perhaps in the charter, that that has to occur at least once a year. Other than that, I'm all for the language that is going forward with the charter amendment, and am anxious to see it passed, because the program really needs some serious tweaks in order to run more efficiently and give us the results that we're expecting. So thank you again for allowing me to testify.
Thank you. That's all for Mahalo.
Thank you so much, Gloria. If we could now transition to Kendra and Waimea for your testifier, please.
Thank you and good morning. In our Waimea office today, we have Ms. Toni Withington testifying on Bill 165. Ms. Withington, you will have 3 minutes for your testimony today, and please reintroduce yourself before you begin by stating your first and last name. Mahalo.
Good morning, council members. My name is Toni Withington. I'm a longtime resident of North Kohala. I'm speaking in favor of Bill 165, which is a charter amendment regarding the PONC regulations. I have been participating in the 2% process since the very beginning, and I've been representative of the groups in Kohala that have participated in the preservation of 1,200 acres of coastal land in North Kohala. 10 of those projects that we've been involved with involve the 2% fund. I have helped participated in the scoping process for this bill and with others who are involved in the PONC process. And I believe that this bill represents pretty much the concerns of the people involved in PONC. I do have one caveat, one problem about this bill, and that is that it removes the allowable stewardship expenditures from the charter without adding them to the county code. The intent is to add them to the county code, but I think that the council can take care of this problem by drafting legislation to include those allowances in the county code before the November election. That way, those of us who are in the program can be assured that if it passes in November, that the rules to the legislation to add it to the county code is right there and ready to go. So thank you for your consideration, and aloha.
Thank you so much to our testifier. Chair, our next testifiers are via Zoom. Franklin Pacaro, to be followed by Carl Henry. Franklin, whenever you're ready to begin, if you could introduce yourself, provide your testimony on Resolution 567, and you'll have 3 minutes. Oh, you'll have to unmute first, Franklin. I just sent you a request to unmute.
Okay. Am I good now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Franklin Pacaro Jr. Everyone knows me as Don. You know, I've known the Lum family since 1968 when my father went to Vietnam. And I had to change schools. And my friend, the first guy that befriended me was Erling Lum, Waylon's brother. And I went to St. Louis with them. And I've known them as honest, hardworking folks. And it's a tragedy when I see Hawaiians losing their land. And happening from the government from the very beginning. My understanding, okay, and just to let you know, I'm here as a private citizen. Yes, I'm an attorney. I'm not his attorney. I've been practicing for 40 years, coming this year. Practicing in criminal, civil, administrative areas. And I've tried many cases before judges, juries, boards, and an arbitrator. And I've been successful in getting my clients' property rights back because the board, the government violated his property rights. And one of the most important things about the taking, yeah, you can take it, but you have to give them due process rights. 3 minutes is insufficient for someone to defend their position. And this rule is arbitrary, okay? 3 minutes is arbitrary. And under the law, the courts will look at any decisions if they're arbitrarily be made. I've been before many councils, and the chair has the authority to waive that. Now let me get to this thing. You know, that's just, I'm sorry, don't hold it against my friends because I'm being an advocate, because I feel for these folks. From my understanding,
the county paved over the La Mohana property in 2014. In improper taking, then and still now. No hearing, no due process rights. Till this day, for 12 years, no due process rights. And the courts will overturn that for violating someone's due process rights. Okay? In law, we call that coming in with unclean hands. The county came with unclean hands, wrong already. Okay? Now, the other thing is,
30 seconds, please.
yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah, okay. I see, you know, here we go. Arbitrary and capricious. You know, just to let you know that, you know, I'm not, I'm from Honolulu, but my maternal grandfather was born in Pahala. I have family in Hilo, Kona, Waimea, Waikoloa, and family that moved from Honolulu to Oahu. And someone went back to build homes on Hilo. My wife's family is from Kohala. When I found out what was going on, I called to find out, why are they doing this? Why did they trample on these people's rights? You know, it's unfair.
I'm sorry, Franklin, but your 3 minutes are up, so we're going to have to move on. Chair, your next testifier is Carl Henry via Zoom. Carl, when you're ready to begin, if you could please unmute, introduce yourself, and you have 3 minutes for Resolution 567.
Okay, hello. My name is Carl Henry. Good friends of Waylon, went to school at Waylon and Erlin. And I would like to defer my minutes to Waylon Lum.
Thank you. Mr. Araceli, before we proceed, I do want to state on the record that Mr. Lum will be able to engage with the council in discussion during deliberation, so he is not limited to just 3 minutes. Thank you. We can proceed with the next testifier.
Thank you so much, Chair. With that being said, we can move on to our next testifier in Hilo.
Thank you. Our next testifier is Deborah Ward, making a comment on Bill 165. Ms. Ward, you'll have 3 minutes to give your testimony. I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds remaining.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for taking testimony today. And mahalo to Ashley Kirkowitz for her efforts to make the charter more transparent and more workable, apparently. And so I'd like to explain who I am. I'm a farmer from Curtistown. I was a punk commissioner for 5 years. I'd like to remind you that Mayor Kanoy suspended deposits to the punk fund during the recession 2008 to 2010, and Mayor Kim tried to disband the punk fund altogether and did not appoint commissioners. So there is politicization of the punk process, and that's one of the reasons that the voters voted to amend the charter so that there would be more language in the charter. I would like to see the language in the code that has been taken out of the charter and moved to the code, because I've been convinced by several people who've talked to me about this that the code is more flexible. However, we don't want it to be so flexible that punk can be disbanded or defunded. And so I would recommend that if we are keeping the current charter proposal as it is, charter changes, that we require yearly deposits to the fund, and that be the charter proposal be amended for that reason, and also that we provide transparency with enough details so that people can see the accounting, and that could be in the charter without too much language change. I understand that the code can be more flexible, that it can be adjusted, and there are plenty of improvements that punk needs. But I think it's important that we preserve the punk process in the charter. And I'd like to thank all of you for considering this, and thank you for letting me testify. Aloha.
Thank you so much to our testifiers. Just noting that we did have a Michael Bonifacio on Zoom, but he is no longer there in Zoom. Chair, at this time, those are all the testifiers you have at the beginning of your meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Araceli. We will proceed with the approval of minutes. Are there any amendments to the minutes of the April 8th, 2026 council meeting? Seeing none, the meeting minutes for April 8, 2026 are deemed approved, and we'll proceed with reports.
Is there any testimony for GOAC 135, Communication 910? Hearing none, GOAC 135, Communication 910, nomination of Trustee Lukoan to the Liquor Commission.
Chair, motion to close file on GOEC 135, Communication 910, confirming the nomination of Trustee Lukoan to the Liquor Commission.
Moved by Councilmember Husted, seconded by Vice Chair Onishi to close file on Communication 910 and confirm the nomination of Trustee Laikoan to the Liquor Commission. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries with, if we can see the Hilo chambers, 8.
There are 4 of us over here.
Thank you. 8 in favor, 1 excused. Councilmember Villegas, the nomination of Trustee Laikoan to the Liquor Commission has been confirmed.
Is there any testimony for GOAC 136, Communication 911? Hearing none, GOAC 136, Communication 919, nomination of Anna Liu to the Board of Appeals.
Chair, motion to close file on Communication 911, GOEC 136, confirming the nomination of Anna Liu to the Board of Appeals.
Moved by Councilmember Husted, seconded by Vice Chair Onishi to close file on Communication 911 and confirm the nomination of Anna Liu to the Board of Appeals. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. The nomination of Anna Liu to the Board of Appeals has been confirmed.
Can I ask Erlin Lum and Robert Nash to please come forward to provide testimony on Resolution 567, which is up for second and final reading? Please have a seat, and then you may activate the microphone by pushing the button. I believe it has a green sticker on it, and when it's activated, it'll light up red to let you know it's ready. Mr. Lum, you may go first, and just please proceed by introducing yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Erlin Lum, and my brother is Waylon. We were born in Hilo in the 50s, and our family has owned and cared for the property that is the subject of this proceeding for nearly 100 years. My grandfather and great-grandfather were cowboys on the Shipman Ranch many years ago. Mr. Shipman sold the parcel to my grandfather of more than over 300 acres, which stretched from Wailea to the ocean, along the ocean to Makuu. Approximately 1.5 miles long, which is now Government Beach Road. As children, my brother and I were fortunate to grow up on this land. It was our playground, our classroom, and our workplace. We learned from our parents, our grandparents, the value of hard work, stewardship, and respect for the land. If you took the roadway in question, you may notice that it follows a very crooked path. And there was a reason for that. My grandfather built much of the road himself using little more than a pick and shovel and axe. He was a strong Norwegian man, and he carved out the road along the natural terrain in the most practical way. Every morning we would load up with sand and extend the road day by day. At the time, there was no Kahakai Boulevard. The only access to the farm was from Kapoho, making a trip much longer over the day. My grandfather sold or gifted portions of the oceanfront property to friends and family, but the ranch remained the heart of our operation. This land has been cared for by our family nearly a century. Before us, it was inhabited and cared for by Native Hawaiians. We were taught to be pono, to respect the land, care for it, and leave it better than we found it. It has been difficult and disappointing to witness the dumping, trespassing, theft, damage that has occurred over the years. The impact to our family has been significant and ongoing. We have experienced increased trespassing, theft, illegal dumping, damage to fencing, livestock loss, and reduced security for our family members and employees. These are real consequences that directly affect our ranching operation and our ability to protect our property. My grandparents established ranching operations with cattle and hogs and coconut trees, avocados, fruit trees, long before there were homes, vacation rentals, or significant development in the area. My parents continue that work today, and my brother and I continue to manage and care for the land. The property is not simply real estate to our family. It is our heritage, our livelihood, and the legacy left to us by our grandparents. I respectfully ask the council to consider the history of this land, the impact this proposed acquisition will have on our family, and the precedents it may establish for property owners throughout Hawaii.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Lum.
Okay.
Mr. Nash, please proceed by first by introducing yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Robert Bob Nash, and I'm associated with the family through marriage. My late wife, Dumlin Nash, is their brothers. And through sweat equity, I have come to know about this farm as a member of the family, working the farm, giving back to the land, making it better than what it was. And to have it be in a situation where it's being considered for eminent domain is criminal, in my opinion. I don't think that that is the way that Hawaii operates, unless there's a special interest group that is involved in this endeavor. We have worked very hard and very tireless over the years to maintain, develop, to give back. Waylon has been tasked with being the main keeper of the land. And he's done a fabulous job of growing it every year of including cattle, including sheep. And to have someone come in and just take part of his land is like I say, I think it is criminal. And unless there's a special interest at play here. And I fully support my brothers. I don't look at them as in-laws, I look at them as brothers, because we've worked that land very hard. I know Merrick and Eric Meidel extremely well. They were my grandparents. I know their father and mother, Lizzie and Ben, and we've worked very hard. You know, I'm shipping papers from Honolulu to wrap tea leaves and plumeria tips to ship all over the country to make it a sustainable entity. And to have this body to even consider taking a portion of that land for no apparent reason. The 10-foot wide has served for 100 years, so why there's no more traffic that's traveling that road now than it was before. And to take away that land from these people is, like I say, is criminal, and it should not happen. I respectfully understand that if there's a main purpose, that it can be put in an eminent domain situation. But when you have fewer than 20 cars traveling on that road in a day, I don't think it's not a public thoroughfare that requires a lot of more roadway. And to have a buffer between the road and his farm, I think is essential, so that he can, being a farmer who works out of Honolulu, it's kind of hard to be here every day, but that buffer of the 10 feet to his farm fencing serves a purpose of safe haven for his animals.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Nash.
So I thank you for your time, and I wish you would consider your decision. Thank you.
Alan Silva and Waylon Lum, please come forward by testimony. Mr. Silva, if you could just activate the microphone. And start out by, you just have to push the button on the, Yes, sir. And should light up red. Okay, you're good to go. Please start by introducing yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes. Thank you.
All right, aloha, Chair and members of the council. My name is Alan Silva. I'm a longtime family friend of the Lum family, about 40 plus years. Time flies when you're having fun. When I learned about the concerns regarding this resolution, number 567-26, and the proposed acquisition of property in Puna, I offered to testify today. And I would like to address the issue of public use and the county's stated justification for the proposed taking of this land. According to the statement of the County Corporation Counsel Salis Ferguson Sinclair in Hawaii Tribune Herald, the county believes the widening of the roadway serves as a public purpose. However, I respectfully question why this particular section of government beach requires acquisition widening most of the government beach road. From four corners of Kapoho to Maku Drive remains approximately 10 feet wide and has not been simply improved. The county did not simply perform minor maintenance on this roadway. In the location, substantial proportions of the roadway were widened and paved. According to my understanding from the research I've done, portion of the roadway expanded to private property by estimated 6 to 10 feet in width. I have been informed that the game camera photographs taken in Lum property shows county road graders, rollers, dump trucks, and other equipment regularly entering the road to widen and improve the roadway. These activities, reported according to repeated several years, today portion of the roadway appears to approximately 18 to 19 feet wide now. Okay? My concern is widening of this roadway is not necessary to improve public safety or traffic flow. Instead, wider roadway areas can create location where unauthorized activities occur, and there's been many. According to the information provided to me, the area has experienced illegal dumping, vehicle stripping, abandoned vehicles, and other unlawful activities. On one occasion, the county recorded removing with multiple trucks, 5 truckloads of rubbish from this area. It is unfortunate improvement intended to benefit the public can sometimes create unintended consequences for adjacent homeowners. In this case, the widening of the roadway appears to have increased impacts of the property owners while providing limited demonstrated benefit for travel public. I respectfully ask the council to respectfully consider whether the proposed acquisition truly necessary, whether less intrusive alternatives can be available. I also ask the council to consider presidents may also establish, approve action. The protection of private property rights and fair treatment of landowners are issues that affect property owners throughout Hawaii. For these reasons, I respectfully request that resolution number 56726 be rejected. Mahalo for your time, consideration, and service to the Hawaii County, what you folks do. Thank you very much. Aloha.
And thank you for your testimony, Mr. Lum. Please proceed when you're ready. Please start by introducing yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Do I have to press a button?
No, you're good to go. It's on. It's activated.
My name is Waylon Lum. I am the owner, manager of Lum Family Enterprises and a third-generation rancher and farmer. Born in Hilo in 1954. Yes, my family has been on this property for over 100 years. This land is simply not real estate, like my brother said. It is a family heritage. I would like to ask one simple question. Why did the county continue to widen, improve, and pave this roadway after the property reverted back to the family in 2020? I constantly met with the team from Steve Poss, Neil Azevedo, and Keone Thompson, constantly paying my own way up every time to go and meet with them to try and resolve this in the 4 years that Mitch Roth was in office. I started this whole process with Ikaika Rodenhurst. Then it was with Mitch Roth and his staff, and now it's, of course, with Mr. Almeida. So it's been a long struggle, but constantly, and so the pictures I gave you up there are pictures of just some of the pictures of the amount of grading work, big rollers, and equipment coming in. This road, the picture shows, is not just like the rest of the roadway. It is a nice road now. They spent a lot of funds on that road. So if most of the road from Maku'u, from Four Corners to Maku'u Drive is only 10 to 12 feet wide, why is this little 1.5 mile section being eminent domain for 55 feet? The 55 feet takes us all the way up to my cattle fence line. Much of the fence inside of our farm, our ranch, is with the NRCS, with the federal granting us funds so that we can make all of our paddocks and so forth. If you look at the pictures, you see the fencing on Government Beach Road stretched. That's along Government Beach Road. So the impact on this has been significant for us. I can't say how much the theft, the burglaries, we had the carnage of all of our sheep, of a good portion of our sheep. It was about 150 of them got slaughtered in one little day and a half or so. Okay, those are not wild dogs. I'm trying to speak as fast as they're not wild dogs. Wild dogs, I've witnessed them. Okay, they can take.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Lum.
Is it done?
It is, but as Chair Nava stated earlier, he anticipates that you'll be engaging with the council when this matter comes up, which will be now.
So just a moment, we're going to read the resolution in, and then there will be further discussion. Is there any further testimony on this resolution?
Checking to see if there's any additional testimony from those who've yet to testify in Resolution 567. Hearing none. Resolution 567-26 authorized the acquisition of private property by eminent domain, being certain portions of tax map key 15009-012 and 058 situated at Keonipoko, Iki, Puna, for the construction and improvement of Government Beach Road, a public roadway. Authorize the Corporation Council initiate proceedings for the taking, acquisition, and condemnation of private property for the improvement and widening of Government Beach Road. This is introduced by Councilmember Kimball by request and passed first reading on June 3, 2026. And this is the second of two required readings pursuant to Section 101-13 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes.
Ms. Kimball?
Motion to approve Resolution 567-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kimball, seconded by Councilmember Galimba to approve Resolution 567-26. I'm going to head over to Councilmember Kirkowitz, being that this is her district.
Thank you, Chair Inapa. And I first just want to mahalo nui the Lam Ohana, Lance Niimi. Thank you for reaching out. The Lam Ohana, as you have heard, has a significant history here on Hawaiʻi Island in Puna. As Paniolo, as ranchers, as farmers, they are actively contributing to our agricultural ecosystem, nourishing communities and families. And I just want to mahalo nui you for all of those efforts. I also want to apologize on behalf of the county for how all of this has been handled. I was able to speak with Mr. Waylon Lum yesterday for about half an hour, and I was very distressed to learn that there was no communication from the county to alert the Ohana that this was going to be agendized on the council. Their lawyer had to read about it in the paper. So I apologize for the handling of this situation, and I hope that this is another opportunity for our county public works to learn how to do things better. I don't want to be airing any dirty laundry or get into a he said, she said situation. I was able to confirm yesterday with both Mr. Lum and Public Works the ability to come back to the table and to revisit a solution that was tentatively agreed upon in late 2024. And so, Chair, at this time, I would like to make a motion to postpone this particular matter to the August 5th agenda in order to give Public Works and the Lam Ohana an opportunity to revisit that solution and work things out and come back to the council with this particular item resolved.
Thank you. A motion by Councilmember Kirkowitz, a second by Councilmember Eustis to postpone Resolution 567-26 to the August 5th council meeting. Is there any discussion on the postponement? Vice Chair Onishi.
Thank you, Chair. So maybe we can have Mr. Azevedo, Deputy Director, and Mr. Lam, you can stay there too. Can you come up? You're representing the department, correct? Yes. Okay. You can take a seat too. So I just want to make sure that this discussion was done and you folks are willing to have this delay so you folks can maybe work out something. Go ahead, Mr. Lam.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
This is
Go
the
ahead.
most important part.
Yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
running out of time.
Go ahead.
I wanted to thank especially Mr. Neil Azevedo, Steve Poss, and Keone Thompson, because we had been working on this for a long time. And I must say that in fact, Neil suggested a certain plan for us, and we had agreed at that time that it sounded good, and we were working out the final segments of it. And unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but at the time, the mayor's race was going on, and we kind of switched gears here, it appears. And I don't know how, but Mr. Sinclair got involved on the legal side, and what we had agreed on verbally and were working on got thrown out the window. So we started, and then everything started becoming, with Mr. Sinclair, the Corporation Counsel, to be a legal matter per se, and not something we can work out with each other. So then it was a matter of turning around and hiring attorneys, appraisers, so forth. It turned into a whole different landscape. It wasn't this nice, we try to work out a win-win situation. Okay. So therefore, we lost that connection, and it turned into a different matter. And then it became very difficult to come to an agreement because it was totally Mr. Sinclair running it, and I hardly spoke with Neil anymore, which I used to speak with a lot. We met a lot. Okay. So that's where we are. So when I expressed this to Ashley, our council representative, I said we were almost there, and we could have had it done so that we get our land protected and they get their roadway done. Right. The only part, and I said it to Neil many times, we need a little help here. Whenever you widen the road there, it becomes, and Ashley knows it very well, it becomes an environment and a situation for illegal activity during the night. You folks aren't there at night when we're there. It's not pretty. So we need to get a little bit of help. And they said, okay, let's put lights on there or something. You know, we were talking about it. At least there was movement to a solution instead of getting into some kind of legal action. I appreciate Neil, Keone, and Steve. We were really working together. And then now it fell apart. Okay. And then, of course, it became worse because we got more theft, more livestock loss, so forth. So, and I'm so hard. It's the hardest thing for us is when you are born there and there's no one there and the whole place is really Pono, it's not like that anymore. Okay. It's very sad. I'm sure my grandparents and parents would not be happy. Right. In fact, I'm not doing a good job.
Okay, thank you. Neil, Deputy Director, any comments? You think that with this delay, it will help? We're trying to come to a resolution.
Neil Azevedo, Deputy Director of Public Works. We're willing to work with Mr. Lam and resolve this issue right away. Okay. You know, the whole thing is we're looking at safety for all. And one thing we'll do, we'll make sure Mr. Lam is happy with what we do there too. Okay. Make sure every part and driving on that road is gonna be safe, you know, for everyone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. So that 1 month and a half should be possible enough time for you folks to kind of work things out.
Yes, should be good.
Okay,
yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Support the postponement.
Any other discussion on postponement?
Yes, please.
Councilmember Corneli Kleinfelder.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Lam, thank you for coming in today and providing, you know, a very honest summary of where we stand today, just for our ability to decision make appropriately for your ohana. As it was distressing to listen to your testimony and the background, and then to understand your stress level of what is happening and where you stand and what's happening to your ohana and your family land. Mr. Azevedo, thank you for being in Kona as well and sitting next to Mr. Lam and giving him basically a steady ground to stand on, and understanding that the county is willing to work with them and we can step back potentially from this eminent domain proceeding. So thank you to both of you. And Mr. Lam, you know, you mentioned some names in the beginning of your testimony. And as soon as you mentioned Mr. Rodenhurst and Mr. Roth, you know, that really highlighted a concern for me, given the history that we've had with some of those folks in our county. So, be supporting the postponement. Mr. Lam, if you need anything, please reach out to myself or any member of the council. It sounds like Councilmember Kirkowitz is taking good care of you. And Mr. Azevedo, thank you for working so closely to make sure that Mr. Lam has a positive outcome as we look into finishing Government Beach Road, but in a way that doesn't negatively affect the property owner in this case. Thank you for both your time and for the family for coming today to testify. Mahalo.
Thank you very much to the council, especially Ashley, who reached out also, and much appreciated. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Chair.
Yes, Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you. I'll keep this really brief. I just want to mahalo Deputy Director Azevedo for his incredible responsiveness this week to think about a solution in partnership with the Lum Ohana. I just want to stress that I would like to continue to be involved, serving as sort of like an accountability coach to make sure that we meet the August 5th deadline. So Deputy Director, please reach out to my office so that I can be included in the meetings that you have scheduled with Mr. Lum. I'm hoping for a successful solution for both sides. And I think what this situation has highlighted is the importance of getting things done. And just because a solution originated in a prior administration doesn't mean that we shouldn't honor it in a new administration. So a promise is a promise on behalf of the county. And I'm committed to working with you, Mr. Lam, and your Ohana to make sure that this is resolved in a timely manner and in a way that just honors your contribution to our community. Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Kirkowitz, and
thank you very much.
Mahalo for volunteering yourself to be a part of those meetings. So just for the record, and so that you're clear, this resolution we're going to be voting on a postponement to August 5th. And when it comes back on August 5th, we'll be exactly here in the same place, second and final reading. So I'm going to ask
Chair.
Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to quickly add in that I really do appreciate all the county coming together to try to come to the solution, and apologize to Mr. Lum for what seems like a very stressful situation, and just to note that you have some very good friends in the community who were able to step up for you, and Mr. Niimi was someone who came and spoke to me directly and on your behalf, and I know you know this, but yes, you have a very supportive community all around you. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you for saying that, because Mr. Niimi has been very good. Likewise, Mr. Lishi, thank you.
Is there anyone else in Hilo? All right. So as I was saying, please work together closely over this next month and a half, because we have a date certain to come back where we will be here to either withdraw or take final action on this resolution. I'm going to ask the Office of the Corporation Counsel if we can have a supervisor there perhaps as well to ensure that we have everything clear. And I think there was some different information coming from different parties involved with this resolution. I'm going to ask you both if we do come back and need to take action on this resolution, to have things documented clearly, so the council can make a well-informed decision on the 5th. With that, there is a motion to postpone Resolution 567-26 to the August 5th council meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. The Resolution 567-26 is postponed to the August 5th council meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Sloman, would you like to testify now on Resolution 588 or wait until the council takes the matter up? It's your choice. No, yours. Okay, please come forward to testify on Resolution 588. Push the button, activate the microphone, it'll turn red. And once it does, start by introducing yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes. Please proceed.
Aloha and good morning. My name is Chris Sloman. I'm the Fire Safety Specialist for the Hawaii Fire Department. And I'm just here to provide any background and answer any questions regarding the resolution of accepting the donation of medical exams. So just for background, over the last few years, the fire service has recognized that cancer is actually the leading cause of firefighter deaths, followed by heart disease, and then third, by what most people assume is trauma, right? Usually from some sort of injury or something like that in the course of duties. Because of that, the National Fire Protection Association several times over recent years has added criteria to what they recommend that the firefighters go through as far as an annual medical exam. Then they've really increased the standards to include like stress EKG tests, cancer screenings, ultrasounds, and things of that nature. Each of the 4 counties the other counties have approached this differently. And all of the islands have limitations about what, how to coordinate medical care, right, with different specialties or whatever to do that. So for example, on Maui, they've used a company that comes in and does the exam fully for their personnel, all done through the same company that's going to be donating these exams to us. Versus in Honolulu, where they have, similar to us, they already have an internal process that does an exam, but they couldn't meet all the criteria for it. They bring this company in to augment what they already do to meet that. Paul Gransom, the owner of the company that does this, met Chief Todd just before, about a week before his untimely passing. When he learned of the circumstances, he thought he was moved enough to come forward and offer to come out and do about 150 of these exams for our personnel, because he believes, although it's not guaranteed, he believes that if Chief Todd might have had the benefit of an annual medical exam that included all this extra criteria, that there's a chance that it could have provided a warning and maybe some follow-up, given an opportunity to provide some follow-up. So he reached out to us to offer this. We're gonna, if it's approved, we're gonna offer it to the most 150 senior firefighters because they have presumably the most occupational exposure, having been on duty the longest. And we'll divide that up where they spend 1 week over here on the Kona side, 1 week over on the Hilo side, and they'll do these exams and provide the information, anything they find to the firefighters, and then they can follow up with their primary care physicians. So that's pretty much it for the background, and I'm willing to answer any questions any of the council members may have.
Mr. Sloman, you may remain at the table. Chair Nava has decided to take up the resolution now so that the council can engage with you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Is there any additional testimony for Resolution 588-26? Hearing none, Resolution 588-26 accepts a donation of specialized medical examination services for the fire department in honor of the late Fire Chief Kazuo Todd. Donation from 1582 Medical Group of approximately 150 National Fire Protection Association standard 1582 compliant medical examinations had an estimated value of $131,250. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request.
Chair, motion to approve Resolution 588-26.
Moved by Councilmember Hustis, seconded by Councilmember Galimba to approve Resolution 588-26. Anything further to add right now before I open it up to the council?
No, sir.
Thank you. Members of the council, any discussion?
Yes, Chair.
Councilmember Kaniali'i Kleinfelder.
I attended the Friends of First Responders event, which really focused in on just supporting our first responders, both police and fire. And Ms. Renee Godoy actually brought this to my attention. And as well as having family in the police department and understanding the stress that our officers, both in fire and in police, go through. This kind of pre-screening and beautifully kind of enacted by Chief Todd is incredibly important. And Ms. Godoy stressed the same thing, and I've heard the same from our officers and just county staff in these types of positions so frequently that this is a blessing. I mean, honestly, thank you for bringing this forward, and to see this kind of a donation to address our first responders is beautiful. So thank you for providing this. I forget the statistic, but one of my good friends, Mr. Adam Wilkins in our police department, was explaining the life expectancy of a first responder was about 10 to 15 years shorter than your average individual, mostly due to the amount of stress. And sadly enough, he's saying, you know, it really happens post-retirement. You work your whole life, you protect the community, you're saving lives, and then you retire, and then, you know, it's like the stress catches up on you. So to do this pre-screening really is a blessing to our departments, both police and fire. So I truly do mahalo for this, for bringing this resolution forward and for providing this pre-screening to our first responders. Thank you.
Any other member in Hilo?
Chair, I do want to note that Chief Volpe is here in chambers and do want to provide him an opportunity to share anything else that might not have already been stated.
Chief, go ahead.
Good morning, Daniel Volpe, Temporary Fire Chief. Thank you. First, just acknowledge the work of our fire safety specialists in the Kona chambers. Mr. Christopher Sloman, one of our civilian fire employees, was a firefighter in the past, was a paramedic in the past. Currently, he brings his level of expertise, OSHA, NIOSH, and FBA, statutory compliance to our department, and his experience really, really brings our department forward. So this is a lot of hard work on his behalf to get this going. So definitely recognize not just the uniform staff, but our civilian staff, our other members that really make up our department. Number two, this is something that, this is an area where the fire department on the Big Island has been lacking. The ability to provide the level of screening, cancer screening, physical, auditory, the level of medical wellness that this brings to our personnel is something that we've been trying to do for decades. Unfortunately, there's a cost. With everything, there's a cost. And so trying to build this cost into our budget, trying to build this cost into kind of how we do this. And what this will do is will open up hopefully the potential to increase the CETA value in this, and hopefully again start the conversations to start bringing these physicals as part of our normal process. This is a very, very generous donation. This was based on a relationship. This speaks to the point that one of the sometimes under-identified strengths of Chief Todd was relationships, was meeting people, selling the department, representing the department, always speaking on behalf of the fire department everywhere he went, including this meeting. We ran into this individual who can now, here we are 6 months later, provide $130,000 worth of necessary physicals to our staff. That wouldn't have happened without a relationship, a conversation. And so in closing, I'm just very, very grateful to council to be able to allow us to accept these funds. I think it sets us on the right path. It protects our personnel and sets our department up for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. I won't be on the council next year to advocate for more resources for something like this, but if an amendment comes forward, I'm happy to testify as a private citizen. Seeing that these Screenings are going to be happening in July and August, prioritizing members of the department that are senior firefighters over the age of 40. This grant would be able to support at least 150 screenings, which is wonderful. I'm hoping that we're able to screen everyone at some point, make that a departmental practice. As you know, my partner is a firefighter. Health is wealth. We want to make sure that we are caring for these individuals that put their life on the line every single day to protect our community. Yeah, in full support. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember. Coming back to Kona, Councilmember Eustis.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Sloman. I appreciate the background on this resolution, and thank you, Chief Volpe, for joining us as well today in Hilo. Just a question, Mr. Sloman, and Chief, maybe you can answer this as well, in terms of looking at other municipalities and other departments, fire departments. Is this something that's a direction that they're moving towards, in including this additional screening?
Yes, yes, sir. So this particular company specializes in going out and providing the full service for a department, so that they basically come in, like in the mainland, they have offices and operations in Nevada and in Arizona. They come in with an RV and with their personnel, and they literally go from fire station to fire station and do the exam for all their personnel to kind of make it easy on the department. Here, they do it a little bit differently. Like I said, they adapt it. In Maui, they come in for, I think, a 2-week period. All the firemen come in on a schedule and go through the exam. Honolulu does it a little different because they have their own city physician. There's, I believe it's the Employee Health Services, does the majority of the exam, and then these guys come in and do the parts that are lacking. And so we will be working with them to evaluate our process and to try and come up with how do we come up where we can bring our system that we currently have up to the same standard. So, because we currently use 2 physicians on each side of the island, and we meet the 2018 version of the standard, but we'd like to come up to the 2025 version, which is what includes all these additional screenings.
Absolutely, that makes complete sense. And so we've never added these additional layers of screening for officers then, for positions.
Not yet. Yeah, it's been a goal of ours, but it's something that it's a little more complicated because we're dealing with 2 separate physicians' offices that have different capabilities, and it would involve some different specialties. And so, similar to the other counties, it might be a logical solution to look at a company like 1582 that comes out and does kind of the gap, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Thank you. I appreciate your support and effort on this. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Eustis. And yes, on behalf of the council, we extend our mahalo to 1582 Medical Group and their CEO for this donation to our firefighters. So with that, all those in favor of approving Resolution 588-26, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Resolution 588-26 is approved. Mahalo.
Mahalo for your support. Thank you.
Is there any testimony for Resolution 575-26? Hearing none, Resolution 575-26 authorize the acceptance of all donations of securities or personal property not covered under the capitalization procedures of the Department of Finance that are received during the fiscal year ending June 30, 2027. Provides County Council pre-authorization for the county to accept donations that are not covered by the Finance Department's capitalization procedures for fiscal year 2026 to 2027. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request.
Chair, motion to approve Resolution 575-26.
Moved by Councilmember Eustis, seconded by Councilmember Kalimba to approve Resolution 575-26. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes, 1 excused. Councilmember Villegas. Resolution 575-26 is approved.
Is there any testimony for Resolution 576-26? Hearing none, Resolution 576-26 authorizes the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the state of Hawaiʻi Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism to receive a grant for the Kona Low Business Recovery Program. Allows for the receipt of $500,000 provided to eligible Hawaii Island small businesses that sustain material, economic, or physical damage from the recent Kona Low storm. Introduced by Councilmember Kagiwara by request.
Chair, motion to approve Resolution 576-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kagiwara, seconded by Councilmember Galimba to approve Resolution 576-26. Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you. After the discussion last time in committee, I believe R&D was able to make a few suggested changes to their MOA and the guidelines. We have Deputy Director Lynn here. If you have any questions, there is a submission of a communication 912.1, and it's just for information purposes. Director Lynn is here to explain a little more. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, Dennis Lynn, Deputy Director for R&D. Yes, so there was only two changes, and one change was already mentioned at the previous committee meeting, which was the change in the date that DBED would allow for the county to have folks apply. So that date is now August 31st, 2026, so that gives about 2 months for everybody to apply. The other change is that they made clear that all the counties would have to comply with that. This grant is for non-agricultural businesses and not for agriculture business. So it has to be specific in that way. So that was added to our guidelines going forward to be in line with all the other counties. So those are the two changes that were reflected in that communication and in the documents provided.
Thank you, Deputy Director. So no changes to the actual resolution itself, but just this additional information to make it clear for everybody.
Correct.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, please.
Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder.
Thank you. You know, I read this resolution, I was actually surprised, because usually what we had before was loans. The same thing during COVID, they came in with massive amounts of funds for loans, but you know what loans mean? It means you get an interest rate and you get a payback period, and it can kill a small business because they take out a loan to build themselves back up, but if the economy doesn't play out, or the idea doesn't play out the way they thought it would, the loan's gonna get you. So this grants was beautiful, so thank you. Why not agriculture? That is a really weird switch, because a lot of the impacts was on our agricultural community in South Kona and Puna and Ka'u, I mean, wherever. But I mean, what's the deal with non-agricultural businesses or agricultural businesses not being allowed to participate in the grants?
Yeah, I think that would have to be brought up with DBED and the state on how they release the funding from the Major Disaster Fund and what they would allow for that. Some of the conversations did mention that the agriculture community already has different pots of funding for those kind of purposes. So they did not want to duplicate those type of fundings, whereas the small business community has other types of funding as well. So that was the main item that was brought back to us 2 weeks ago when we heard this at committee.
Okay, DBED. Well, interesting decision making. Where do people apply for this?
Yeah, it would be through our regular impact grant website. So we would utilize our Amplifund program, and that's already been set up. We're just trying to work out some technical things, but we plan to have this open up by the 26th. This month.
Beautiful. Yeah. Good job.
And we do have an informational webinar that we plan to do on July 9th.
Any interesting regulations that small businesses should be aware of when they're applying?
Really, like mentioned before at committee, it's application completion. So as long as you provide the documentation that we have here in our guidelines, it'll be on a first come, first served basis upon completion. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a huge opportunity for our businesses that got affected by the Kona lows. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Thank you. I yield, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Galimba.
Thanks. Just in case folks are listening to this who are in agriculture and don't know about Farm Service Agency, yes, if you do have damage to your farm, physical damage, you please do get in touch with the USDA Farm Service Agency. They do have a program directly related to the Kona low. There might be some businesses that are sort of like value added who don't have direct maybe agricultural lands. Maybe that might be somewhere where there might be a little bit of a gap, but perhaps R&D can address, be flexible around that. But if it is actual farmland, Farm Service Agency we try to do a good job of taking care of farmers there.
Councilmember Eustis.
Thank you, Chair. Deputy Director, so DBED changed and add that program eligibility just in the last 2 weeks then?
Yeah, they did not emphasize that with us until I had reached back out to say that we're about ready to sign the MOA, and they had reaffirmed that non-agricultural businesses would be the eligibility category.
But they had the MOA with them previously though, right?
Correct.
And they know that after today, they can't change it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because it seems like we've been changing the dates, changing pieces in here throughout this process. Okay. Just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving Resolution 576-26, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Resolution 576-26 is approved.
Is there any testimony for Resolution 577-26? Hearing none, Resolution 577-26 amends the rules of procedure and organization of the Council of the County of Hawaii by adding a rule relating to Native Hawaiian law training. Requires council members to complete the Office of Hawaiian Affairs Native Hawaiian Law Legal Training introduced by Councilmember Kagiwara. We have Communication 913.1 from Councilmember Jen Kagiwara dated June 4, 2026, transmitting proposed amendments to Resolution 577-26.
Chair, motion to approve Resolution 577-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kagiwara, seconded by Councilmember Eustis to approve Resolution 577-26. Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you so much, and thanks for everybody's support during our committee discussion on this. I have a few amendments based on that discussion here to propose in the form of Communication 913.1. Please, I'm making a motion to please amend Resolution 577 with the contents of Communication 913.1.
Moved by Councilmember Kagiwara, seconded by Councilmember Eustis to amend Resolution 577-26 with the contents of Communication 913.1. Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you. Yes, so the three changes that I made in this amendment based on our discussion was one, putting a time frame. So within the first 24 months of taking office, that's your first term, basically. The second is that if you've already taken this training for whatever reason, you can be exempt from this rule. And the last one is just that the council chairperson will maintain a record of members who have completed this training. There was one other suggestion, I believe, from Councilmember Kimball, but when we spoke with LRB, they said that this was what they thought we should do at this time. So happy to take any questions on this amendment.
Discussion on the amendment? All right. I guess my only question, Councilmember Kagiwara, is the same as the last time, just enforcement. And the chairperson can keep record, but have we thought about any actual enforcement mechanism to ensure folks do
when I look at
do
our
it?
rules, we generally don't seem to have very many. It's, in our rules, these are rules that we're expected to follow. Not many of them have enforcement measures behind them, so I guess I'm not really sure what kind of thing we might do, given that there doesn't seem to be a lot of precedent there.
Okay. Alrighty. Chair, staff, upon passage of this resolution, please initiate finding out who has completed this training, and if not, we'll send them out to get into the next training. All those in favor of amending Resolution 577-26 with the contents of Communication 913.1, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 7 ayes, 2 excused. Council members Canelli, Kleinfelder, and Villegas. We need a motion to suspend our rules.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Galimba, seconded by Councilmember Kagiwara to suspend our rules for further discussion on Resolution 577-26. All those in favor, please say aye. All right, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
On the motion to suspend the rules, Councilmember Galimba.
Aye.
Councilmember Eustis.
No.
Councilmember Kagiwara.
Aye.
Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Aye.
Councilmember Kimball.
No.
Vice Chair Onishi.
Nope.
Councilmember Villegas. Chair Inaba.
Aye.
Chair Inaba, you have 4 votes in favor, those being Councilmember Galimba, Kagiwara, Kirkowitz, and yourself. 3 opposed, 2 absent. The motion fails.
Thank you. This resolution will be agendized again on our July 8th council meeting per our rules. Thank you.
Is there any testimony for Resolution 587-26? Hearing none, Resolution 587-26 approves the proposed operating budget for the Hawaii State Association of Counties for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2027, introduced by Councilmember Kimball.
Chair, motion to approve Resolution 587-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kimball, seconded by Councilmember Eustis to approve Resolution 587-26. Councilmember Kimball.
Yes, just presenting for your consideration the budget for the next fiscal year for the Hawaii State Association of Counties. This is our part of our protocol per our bylaws to have this approved by each county. I will make particular note that this year's proposed budget is the first time that HSAC has a positive budget without a deficit. We're not required to have a balanced budget, and we've always had a bit of a deficit, but this year we are expected to actually be in the black, so it's exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of approving Resolution 587-26, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Resolution 587-26 is approved.
Is there any testimony for Resolution 589-26? Hearing none, Resolution 589-26 awards the County of Hawaii Vaivai nonprofit grants and aid for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2027, and awards grant funds in the amount of $2,515,000 to 62 programs operated by eligible 501c3 nonprofit organizations, introduced by Councilmember Kimball.
Chair, motion to approve Resolution 589-26.
Moved by Councilmember Kimball, seconded by Councilmember Galimba to approve Resolution 589-26. Councilmember Kimball.
Yes, I just want to once again mahalo the members of the ad hoc that were instrumental in scoring and reviewing all of these applications. I also want to give particular mahalo to Jessica Valdez and for all her support of the ad hoc throughout the process, and the administration and finance director Nakagawa. You can see we're a little bit over our 2.5, and they agreed to add that extra $15,000 to the budget for the Vaivai grant, so we could award one more eligible organization. I do want to also note the reports were provided to you earlier from the ad hoc, but I think of particular note this year is, one, the geographic equity of these expenditures and grants across the county, as well as the distribution across the different change framework categories. I will say that that wasn't actually intentional. It just kind of fell out that way, but I think it's a nice representation that we've got coverage of these grants across the whole county, as well as across these different service areas that have been identified as critically important for this program. Happy to take any questions about the grants that are being offered. Thank you.
All those in favor of approving resolution? Okay, Councilmember Kirkowitz, go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to make a disclosure that one of the nonprofits that are receiving a Vai grant, I lead Nalea o Hawaiʻi, so I just want to make that disclosure on public record and seek your guidance on whether or not I should be recusing myself from this vote. I did not score that particular application. Just looking for some guidance. Thank you.
Chair, if I may, I think that, I don't know if Corporation Council can weigh in, but generally speaking, with respect to recusals, if the grant money is going to an entity where Councilmember Kirkowitz has decision-making authority over the finances, it may be in her best interest to recuse herself from decision-making.
Thank you, Councilmember
I will
Kimball.
be recusing myself from this vote. Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Councilmember Kirkowitz. Making your exit, mahalo. I don't oversee directly a nonprofit that is in this list, but I do get paid by that by a nonprofit, and I can recuse myself as well if that would be the advice of the Corporation Council. And I was on the ad hoc committee, but did not score or discuss the application.
Good morning, Renee Schoen, Corporation Counsel. I would say that out of abundance of caution, that I would suggest that you recuse yourself.
Thank you. It's 10:27. I'm going to be leaving the room per our rules. Vice Chair Onishi.
Can you make a note that I'm taking chair? Okay, so on the motion of approving resolution 589, any more discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor of approving resolution 589-26, please say aye. Those opposed, we have 6 ayes. We have 3 excused, sorry. Mr. Cherry Naba, Ms. Kirkowitz, and Ms. Villegas. Okay, back to resolution 59-26, and I'm going to be turning over the chair back to Chair Naba at 10:27.
Is there any testimony for resolution 590-26? Hearing none, resolution 590-26 transfers appropriates an appropriation out from a designated fund account, credit seen to a designated fund account to assist the Department of Parks and Recreation with expenses relating to the 4th of July Hilo Bay Blast event. Transfers $3,028 in the Clerk Council Services Contingency Relief Account, Council District 5, and credits to the Department of Parks and Recreation, Culture and Education Other Current Expenses Account, introduced by Councilmember Connie E. Kleinfelder.
Chair.
Councilmember
Motion to approve resolution 590-26.
Moved by Councilmember Connie Kleinfelder, seconded by Councilmember Eustace to approve resolution 590-26. Go ahead.
I'd like to thank Mr. Eustace for letting me make my motion on this one. I'd also just like to mahalo. No, I'm just kidding. I was texting him. I also want to thank the Department of Parks and Rec. This is one of my favorite events. 4th of July, Hilo Bay Blast. I love it. And I know Mr. Inaba and I kind of go back and forth. I try and increase the budget for the department for this every year for both West and East Hawaii, but he doesn't like it. And that's fine. So I'm going to do it in my own way this year. I'm going to give him $3,000 to increase our fireworks display and what we can provide to the community for the 4th of July. So look for everyone's support. And then just again, mahalo to the Parks and Rec Division for providing this for the community and for the administration and providing this amazing event for the community. It's one of the few times everybody comes together. I don't know how many people. 10, 20, 30,000 people come together to watch the 4th of July festivities in Hilo Bay. It's a beautiful event as long as the weather's nice. I just love it. So thank you for your support. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Chair, I had one quick question, and I'm...
go ahead.
Just wanted to ask Councilmember Connie Kleinfelder. I was asked by a constituent if anything special is planned since this is the 250th anniversary or Independence Day. Would you know if there's anything special planned? I haven't had a chance to reach out to PNR on that.
I don't. Maybe the administration would be good to reach out to for special amazingness for the 250th.
That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your generosity, Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder. I think the Kailua event needs help too. If you have more funds with that, all those in favor of approving Resolution 590-26, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Resolution 590-26 is approved.
Is there any testimony for Resolution 591-26? Hearing none, Resolution 591-26 transfers appropriates an appropriation out from a designated fund account, credit same to a designated fund account for the Department of Parks and Recreation to purchase volleyball equipment, transfer $7,525 from the Clerk Council Services Contingency Relief Account, Council District 9, and credits to the Department of Parks and Recreation and Recreation Division Equipment Account, introduced by Councilmember Hustis.
Chair, motion to approve Resolution 591-26.
Moved by Councilmember Hustis, seconded by Vice Chair Onishi to approve Resolution 591-26.
Thank you, Chair. Just providing some support for Parks and Rec to replace some volleyball equipment in the district. Thanks for the consideration.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving Resolution 591-26, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Resolution 591-26 is approved. If we can please proceed with Bill 162.
Is there any testimony for Bill 162? Hearing none, Bill 162 amends Chapter 3 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2016 edition as amended relating to paid parking facilities. Adds a new article to establish signage requirements for paid parking facilities to include a schedule of rates, notice of any additional fees, hours of operation, and information on towing procedures, introduced by Councilmember Villegas.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 162 at first reading.
Moved by Councilmember Hustis, seconded by Councilmember Galimba to approve Bill 162 at first reading. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving Bill 162 at first reading, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Bill 162 passes first reading.
Back to 157.
Keep going down.
Is there any testimony for Bill 165? Hearing no additional testimony, Bill 165 initiates an amendment to Article 10 of the Charter of the County of Hawaii, 2024 edition, relating to public access, open space, and natural resources preservation. Increases the annual allocation dedicated to public access, open space, and natural resource preservation maintenance fund from 0.25% to 0.5% of real property tax revenue. Removes the accrual limit for the fund. Provides that all expenses from the fund must align with the fund's purpose, and authorize the awarding of grants from the fund. Introduced by Councilmember Kirkowitz. This is the first of 3 required readings and requires a 2/3 vote to pass.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 165 on first reading.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowitz, seconded by Councilmember Hustis to approve Bill 165 at first reading. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to bring this forward. This is in regards to the PONC Maintenance Fund. After convening community members around ways in which we can strengthen this particular program, it was noted that listing all of the allowable stewardship activities within the charter has proven to be problematic over the years. So the consensus was to maintain the fund in code so that it can be preserved and funding will always be available for stewardship activities, and to move the list of activities to the county code, which provides a bit more flexibility, but also legal direction, so that as the PONC Commission and PONC office evaluate proposals for stewardship applications, they have a clear record within the code of what those allowable activities are. At this time, I want to bring up Corporation Counsel Renee Schoen to just put on the record the reason why there is not a code update to accompany this charter amendment. We have had some discussions about the timing of when that code piece could be introduced. But I want her to just kind of go over the legal tension, and I have a suggested path forward. Corporation Counsel.
Good morning, Renee Sean, Corporation Counsel. So I guess I'm not quite understanding your question. What I think you're getting at, though, is the reason for the need for this particular measure to be done by charter versus code.
Corporation Counsel, before you go any further, the question that I have is, am I allowed to introduce a code amendment that lists stewardship activities concurrent with this charter amendment? And you had advised me that I could not, and that I needed to wait for the ballot measure to be approved. I had suggested to you that I could introduce a code amendment and hold it at second and final reading, and the council could adopt it following the election. So I'm just hoping that you could confirm that conversation.
That's confirmed, yes. I'm sorry, I totally had a brain cramp when you asked initially.
All good, but I just wanted to put it out there publicly, the reason why there isn't a code amendment that is being introduced concurrently with this charter amendment. Like I mentioned at the last meeting, I have every intention of bringing that forward in July. It'll look very similar to what is already in the charter, with some additional activities listed, again, based on conversations with stewards, Ponk Office, Director of Finance, and individuals that have long-standing participation in this particular program. That being said, I do want to bring forward an amendment to Bill 165. This is based on conversations that we had in committee regarding where funds would come from. I think the general consensus by the body, by the community, by the county has been, yes, we want to see more money available for stewardship, but there was some question around where that money should be coming from. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to amend Bill 165 with the contents of Communication 915.2.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowicz, seconded by Councilmember, was that Kimball? Thank you. To amend Bill 165 with the contents of Communication 915.2. Councilmember Kirkowicz.
Thank you. So this would provide a total of up to 0.5% in real property tax revenue to support this program. 0.25% would be derived from real property tax, and at the discretion of the finance director, the mayor, an additional 0.25% could be pulled from the acquisition fund. That was the sentiment that was raised by members of the council during committee. So I wanted to put this communication forward to have a conversation. We can take action on it today. We can actually hold it here. This is the first time that members of the public have been seeing it, but I would like to continue to move this ordinance forward. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Discussion on the amendment starting in Hilo.
Thank you, Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that this is the first time that the public is seeing this and hearing this, as well as us. I do have concerns that many people who have been very strong supporters of this bill might have concerns about this change. When we had the discussion, I guess my thought was not so much that the required amount would be lowered based on what the original said from 0.5% to 0.25%, but that we would have some kind of discussion about flexibility between the funds. So I can see kind of where you're going with this, but it's not exactly what I thought the discussion was about. I didn't think it was a discussion about changing that 0.5% back down to 0.25%. So I have concerns about moving this, okay. I'll turn to you if that's not what I'm seeing here. Go ahead.
Chair, could I address Councilmember Kagiwara?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So up to 0.5% will be made available for maintenance.
Okay.
Where that funding derived, I'm suggesting a different approach based on conversation. So 1/4 would come from real property tax. An additional 0.25% would be derived from the acquisition fund. That is what members of this body said when we were in committee. They wanted to draw upon $20+ million that is sitting in the acquisition fund and have the flexibility to utilize that to support maintenance activities. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's written here. What's also built into this is that it's going to be part of our county budget. I don't believe that this fund is in our county budget right now. And the beauty of all of that means the council has the ability to increase the appropriation during the budgeting process.
Sure.
So that is the bonus that provides us with additional oversight and say with the funding that is being allocated for stewardship. I hope that provides clarity.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just to reiterate and clarify, this is not saying that it could be only 1/4% that goes to the maintenance fund, but it could be up to 0.5%? That's how I was reading it, is it could be between 1/4 to 0.5% on an annual basis.
Yes, the baseline is 1/4 and up to 0.5%.
Okay, but that is a significant change from what before was changing the maintenance from 1/4 to 0.5%. That's what I'm reading. The change is now it is optional that it go from 1/4 to 0.5%. Before, what you had written was to change the maintenance from 1/4 to 0.5%. So that's where I'm just saying I think some people who have been very supportive of this may need time to digest, as you suggested earlier. So I was just agreeing with you that people may need time to understand that piece and to reflect on their support for this change. So that's where I'm at with this. I think the flexibility is good. I do have concerns that this seems to say that it could only be 1/4% in some circumstances, and that's going to be decided by the finance department. So anyway, happy to hear what other folks have to say on this. Thank you. I yield.
Anyone
Chair?
else in Hilo? Councilmember Kimball.
Yeah, thank you. Can I ask Mr. Shapiro from Punk to come up and just answer a quick question for me? I did wanted to re-ask this. It was asked at the last meeting, but just as a reminder, in this last year, what was the amount that was awarded in total to stewardship funds?
For last year, I think it was around 800,000.
Okay.
Approximately.
And roughly the amount at 1/4% right now that's being put into the maintenance fund is about 1.6?
I believe so. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Malia may have.
1.3, I'm being signaled by sign language from the back of the room. Okay, so 1.3. So to date, have we ever expended the entire 1/4%?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, okay. And thank you. That's actually why I'm supportive of this proposal at this point, because we have not yet expended the full amount. We have also capped it at the 3 million. So we've been putting money back into the general fund. As supportive as I am for increasing funding for stewardship, and I think we will need to because of some of the large properties we've just acquired, we are also facing a pretty uncertain fiscal outlook. And I think this sort of moderated approach at this stage is warranted. And I see it as just good governance and being fiscally prudent to maybe take this as an intermediate stage. I mean, if we can't even distribute the 1/4% that we're getting now, then I would be hesitant to double it without some kind of oversight determine whether that is actually needed. In a future situation where we are guaranteed revenue, I would be inclined to raise it to that 0.5% because we do need to invest in that stewardship. But just everything I'm seeing and hearing about, you know, the wastewater discussion we had yesterday and other things, I mean, we need to be very prudent, and I think this is a representation of that. So I'm supportive of this amendment. On the main motion, I do have a couple of comments, but supportive of this proposal. Thank you.
Anyone else in Hilo? Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder.
Thank you. I'm actually gonna step into a different mode here. We have Deborah Ward in chambers. Ms. Ward, do you want to add comment? You've been a constant voice in my ear about the punk fund, but you have a historical reference that I think many of us may not have.
Good trouble, I hope.
And we're on the amendment right now, so yeah. I was watching your face during Ms. Kagiwara's concerns, if you will.
Part of the problem is that the county calendar is not viewable because of an IT problem, and therefore I couldn't even get access to the changes I didn't know were happening today, or I would have testified.
Okay.
I think that the county calendar needs to be viewable so that people could see what the actual agenda is.
Okay, thank you for that.
So I'm a little concerned just because one of the reasons that the stewardship grants have not been fully funded, I think, has been partly due to some of the problems that are associated with not understanding what or having, you know, historical change in the process with regard to giving stewardship grants. There was a time in which education was not considered allowable under the stewardship program. Currently it is, but it hasn't been codified in a way that's very viewable to people applying for stewardship grants. So I think there, for example, none of the Kohala properties that we currently own in the county punk program are being funded for stewardship at all. They were denied stewardship grants some time ago, and I think they gave up because they kept getting denied over and over again. So it's one thing to say, well, we have these 20 properties, but nobody's stewarding them. But I think also the problem is that we haven't been very good at communicating about what's allowed under the stewardship grants, and we haven't made it easy. I mean, it's really not easy to get a stewardship grant, to get it in a timely way, and then to get funded during the year that it's been proposed. Sometimes people have 6 months or even 3 months to fulfill a year's worth of promises because the money never came. And then they're penalized for not having gotten the money in time, which wasn't their fault. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to say that the problem is entirely current. It's just that we have historical problems.
Thank you very much for sharing. So the funding, what I'm hearing though is funding-wise, the funding isn't the challenge in your opinion. It's the mechanics of how we process and provide stewardship grants or funds to the organizations.
That's been part of the problem all along, yes.
Okay, I've heard
But
that in the past.
Mr. Kleinfelder, can I interrupt? We're talking about the amendment. That can be done once we get past this amendment and go back to the main motion. Then this discussion, what you guys are talking about, would be much better. Okay? So on the amendment, please.
Okay, what Mr. Onishi is saying is that he would prefer the conversation be centered in on the amendment itself, and that we can have a more general discussion regarding the bill. So on the amendment, Ms. Ward, is there anything on the amendment that strikes you as something that you would be cautious of, or are you okay with what you're seeing in front of you?
I'm just cautious that it makes it less transparent where the money comes in, if it comes at all, just because if it's not in the charter. Okay. But
she does.
It makes it more discretionary.
Okay.
It's, okay, maybe I don't understand, because I only just got this because I didn't know there was an amendment, so I think maybe I better not speak to it.
No, no, thank you thank you, Ms. Ward. I appreciate that. Chair, I yield.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment?
Yes, Chair.
Councilmember Eustace.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councilmember Kirkowitz, for the amendment here. This is definitely out of the conversation we had previously on this in providing some flexibility. I do appreciate the sentiment from Councilmember Kimball on that flexibility for these funds regarding future finances for the county and so forth. I think the position I have on this, and I think this is where this kind of stems from, we've recently purchased larger properties that will require greater maintenance funds over time. And the more we acquire, the more we're going to have to maintain. So I appreciate this in terms of trying to transition, trying to find a mechanism of transitioning the funds to be more flexible between the two, the acquisition side and the maintenance side. So I do appreciate that there. And I think in the future, we'll have to probably even consider a greater shift. That's just my personal opinion on it in terms of the amount of properties that are out there, the finances that we have to support and preserve and care for those properties. So I think that will have to come down the road, of course. But I appreciate what your language here is presenting us for this part of this transition and maintaining some of these properties and giving that flexibility to do so. And I do agree with the sentiment that we are not actively and we're not ourselves being good stewards of the maintenance fund as a county in terms of getting those funds out there to the properties that need to be cared for. We're not expending those dollars to care for these spaces. So we need to do a better job either in the communication aspect with applicants, with the steward groups, whether with them and as well as the commissioners, so that they're not rejecting applications on certain projects for little pieces here or there. I think that's a whole other conversation, but those dollars are not going out to the properties that we have put tax dollars behind to care for these spaces. So we need to resolve that issue as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment?
Chair.
Councilmember Galimba, go ahead, and I'll come back to you, Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you. I'm generally in support of this amendment, as it does reflect some of the discussion that we had. Given that we are not spending all of the funds at this time, I'm just wondering what the thought process is on removing the $3 million cap, since that seems to be working at this time. And I would not like to see, if we don't, fix the problem of not being able to get the stewardship grant money out, I would hate to see money piling up in a fund where we would not have access to it for the other needs of our county. So I just wanted to ask the introducer if there's a reason that I'm not seeing why you want to keep this or not have this $3 million limit.
Go ahead, Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you. That is an excellent question, Councilmember Galimba. And I think it reflects a lot of the work that needs to happen within the stewardship program. I'm incredibly hopeful that with the team assembled, they will be utilizing all of the funding that is there and money won't be stacking. That is a very good problem that I hope we have. And that particular removal of the $3 million cap is with that in mind, of this team being able to push out stewardship grants. As we acquire more properties, like we all know, there is going to be a need for additional funding. We have not spent on an annual basis the 0.25% that has been allocated, but I am hopeful that we'll get there and that it'll matter in the future to have a little bit of that extra money in the bank to support years in which there are more stewards that are applying for funding. Thank you.
Councilmember Kirkowitz, you still have the floor.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge Deputy Finance Director Malia Kekai. She was very gracious in helping our office to craft the language that is before the council now for consideration. You know, we recognize the economic distress that we are facing and likely going to face in years ahead, and wanted to come up with a very, as Councilmember Kimball said, a very moderated, a very judicious approach where we recognize the critical importance of this program while also balancing all of the needs and kuleana that are mandated for the county to take care of in the charter. Deputy Director, is there anything that you want to add regarding this particular amendment?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to kind of reiterate a point you made earlier of the PONC budget is now in the budget, right? We have accounts for it, so you guys will be seeing it at every budget adoption. So in that said, even though the wording says the finance director obviously at her discretion gets to put in extra funds from the preservation fund, that will only happen if we look at the outcome, the financial outcome in it, and we see that in the future we need to budget more because we will spend the money, right? Instead of just shoving money in there and not having a plan for it, we will have a plan for those funds, and you all will have the opportunity to see that. And if you guys think in your opinion that it needs to be more, if you see needs, if you hear from other stewards or such that we will need more, then you will have that opportunity at budget to amend that as well, if so needed. But yeah, I mean, I want to say that we have a great team, and we do not dispute that there have been historical problems that we're going to spend the money. We really want to focus on that. We're going to be doing a lot more studies, management plans, AISs, and all that stuff. So we have plans for this money, and every year we come forward, we'll have a better and better plan of how we're going to spend it. So just wanted to let, for the record, the public know that, we are working on all the issues that, have been identified in the past.
Thank you, Chair. I yield.
Thank you.
Chair.
Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you. Actually, Deputy Director, can you come back? Sorry. First of all, thank you. Thank you for putting this in the budget. That makes a lot more sense. The way it's written seems like it's a one-person decision, but that makes a lot more sense to me that that it's in the budget and it'll be looked at by the mayor, the council, everybody. I just had a question. The conservation easements, those come out of the purchasing side, not the maintenance side, correct?
If it is maintenance of a conservation easement, it comes out of the maintenance fund. If it's an acquisition of a
the acquisition comes out of. Okay, thank you so much. I wanted that clarification. And just in general, to the maker, I'm understanding this a bit better now. I guess my still biggest concern is just that the public hasn't had a chance to digest it. Yeah, thank you for bringing this forward and for having the conversation. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Councilmember Kaniali Kleinfelder.
Biscuit guy. Just walking through, so the big change for me is the 1/2 to 1/4. So what is that difference as a dollar amount?
Yeah, so currently it's about 1.3, so it would be bumped up to 2.6, but that's based on our real property tax revenue, right? So if that goes up or down, that number will adjust up or down.
Right, the amendment steps down from 1/2 to 1/4, correct?
The 1/4 is preserved from real property tax, and with up to 0.5% if needed.
Right, the amendment, section A, has crossed out the word 1/2 and dropped it to 1/4 of 1%.
Yes, so it's 1/4 all the time, and then it gives the discretion to, based on financial, our financial stability, and to put more money in if necessary, if we see the need for more maintenance work that next year, up to 0.5%.
Right, so I understand that. So when you said 1.3 to 2.6, how did that happen?
So 1/4 is 1.3. Yes. So if we went all the way up to 1/2, we would be at 2.6, would be the total funding we could put in.
If we did.
So if we saw the need,
So it's not, it will happen. That's the difference for me. It's not a shall anymore. It's we're dropping to 1/2 of what we have done which from the conversation, because we were one half of.
No, we've always been a quarter. Yeah, and
Oh, we're at a quarter right now.
Yeah, we're at a quarter.
Okay, sorry, this amendment's throwing me off. So one half is the suggested change by the bill.
Yes, up to one half.
And now, okay, so the 1/4 stays the same. We're actually decreasing from the bill that was provided.
The sources are different. Providing flexibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the flexibility piece. It allows us to budget appropriately as we see fit, both the mayor and the council.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we're sticking with the original intention of the Punk Preservation Fund as well as the Maintenance Fund, that makes me happy. What are the proceeds from general obligation bonds? Is that a large amount?
No, we haven't done bonds for Punk, and I don't think we will. I don't foresee us needing to float bonds for Punk in any near future.
Well, it's always in the wording. All proceeds from the sale of general obligation bonds authorized and issued for the purposes of this section. So it's just a wonder for me. How much is that? So it's a big zero.
Yeah, big zero right now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kikai. Miss Kikai.
Yep. I see.
I yield. Yes.
Okay, we're still on the amendment.
Chair, I want to just make one additional quick comment, if I may.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to just kind of express, again, support in general, but to Councilmember Eustis's comment with respect to the removal of the cap of the 3 million. I think that provides flexibility on both sides of this. So if we have the flexibility in terms of the revenue, in response to Debbie Ward's comments here, which is absolutely valid, like we haven't been as effective as we could be. By removing the cap, then we have this buffer on the expenditure side too, that gives us that little bit of wiggle room to figure out where the right place to be is with, as the stewardship process improves, then we still have a little bit of buffer even without going to that full 0.5%. So that's what I like about this is you've got the buffer on both sides. You've got the buffer on the revenue side if we have financial challenges, but then you also have the buffer on the stewardship side by removing that cap if we do start to be more successful. And then that gives us a little breathing room to decide in the future if we do need to be always at that 5%. So again, supportive of that concept. I also want to be clear that this wouldn't necessarily limit what we put in the POP fund to that 1/4 or 0.5%, right? Since when we review the budget, the money that goes into that fund is 1/4%. If we had to, we could also move in 1/4% from the PONC acquisition funds, but there's nothing also preventing us from saying we're going to put it, just like we did with the buyback grants just now. We could additionally put more money if we had to, right?
I would defer to Corp Counsel on that one. I think that, yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the whole section, I think, but.
I think with the county's authority as power of the purse, I would assume that well, we should never assume things, but I would argue that we have that authority anyway, just because these revenues are required to come from these the tax income doesn't mean we are limited, I think, from that side. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, any last comments in Hilo? Okay. Councilmember Kirkowicz, thank you for bringing this forward. I couldn't remember the discussion that was had last time, but I can't support this amendment. I can't support an amendment that allows for potential taking of funds from the acquisition fund. We have lists in this from years past where properties have been nominated and have resolutions passed that haven't been purchased. And I understand, what we're trying to do is, and with that idea of acquiring more comes more funds needed to maintain those properties. But like Councilmember Kimball just mentioned, this last section of the amendment, nothing stops the administration or the council from appropriating more funds to cover maintenance costs if we need to. I also posed a question to the Corporation Council earlier that should we need reliable, let's say an additional 0.25% on top of what's currently in the charter, whether codifying that additional 0.25% would be an option so that it wouldn't need to wait for the next election. So for myself, understanding what our traditional spending has been and the power both the mayor and the council has to increase the maintenance fund at our discretion each budget year, I don't think I can support this amendment. Moreover, I would like to see it remain at a 0.25% for now, based on historical spending. So with that, we can take a vote, roll call vote, please, on the amendment.
So I think Councilmember Kirkowitz mentioned that she might want to postpone this to give the public more time to actually digest this. I don't know if that's the case or if she would like to go forward with the vote.
Okay, Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Chair, thank you for the latitude. I had mentioned that I'm happy to have the conversation about this amendment today. We don't need to take a vote on it because this is the first time that the public is seeing it. We can have a discussion at our next council meeting, but I do want to move the bill forward in its current form so that we can stay on track to ensure that it can make it onto the ballot.
Understood.
Chair.
Yes, Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you. I just giving my support to move the main motion along, but keep this discussion on this amendment open so the public can weigh in. That would be my preference. Thank you.
Chair, I'm going to withdraw my motion to amend Bill 165. Thank you.
All right, the motion has been withdrawn to amend Bill 165. Mr. Hendricks has something to say.
I do, and thank you so much. I have some just timeline considerations regarding passage of this bill for it to appear on the 2026 general election ballot. If this measure passes today, gets required votes, it would be scheduled to appear on the July 8th council agenda for second reading, and should it pass that second reading and follows its normal track, then it would be scheduled to be heard on the 23rd for third and final reading. Presuming it passes third and final reading, it would need to be provided, submitted to the mayor for the mayor's approval. And as stated earlier in other emails and correspondence, the Corporation Council is required to provide an explanation of the ballot measure to the State Office of Elections by July 30th, unless it's willing to take on the responsibilities of translating that material into several languages. And I'm fairly confident that the Corporation Council would not be comfortable submitting an explanation for a ballot measure that is not yet an ordinance, given that it would still be tentative, that it would be in the mayor's hands. And the mayor needs to be afforded the full 10 business days to review the measure and provide approval. So if this measure follows a current tracking, it does not appear that there'll be enough time, even if there are no postponements, for it to make it onto the 2026 general election ballot. I'm not giving any suggestions or recommendations, but the council would need to call special meetings in order to expedite the review of this bill in order for Corporation Council to have time to do its work and allow the state to conduct the translation process as the state has provided in a memo, an official memo to Corporation Council, providing a July 30th deadline.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk Hendricks. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to proceed. We
Okay.
can cross the bridge when we get there if there is a need to do a special council meeting, and I am in communication with Corporation Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. All those in favor of approving Bill 165 at first reading, please say aye.
No. Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna do a roll call vote, please.
On the motion to pass Bill 165 at first reading, Councilmember Galemba.
No.
Councilmember Eustis.
Aye.
Councilmember Kayuada.
Aye.
Councilmember Connie Lee Kleinfelder.
Aye.
Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Aye.
Councilmember Kimball.
Aye.
Vice Chair Onishi.
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas. Chair Inaba.
Aye.
Chair Inaba, you have 7 votes in favor with Councilmember Galemba opposed and Councilmember Villegas absent and excused. The motion carries. Bill 165 is passed at first reading.
Thank you. Bill 152, please.
Is there any testimony for Bill 152, which is up for third and final reading? Bill 152 initiates an amendment to Article 3, Section 3-18 of the Charter of the County of Hawaii, 2024 edition, relating to the Office of the County Auditor. Clarifies that the County Auditor has the same power with respect to employees within the Office of the County Auditor as department heads in the executive branch, and specifies that the County Auditor may appoint a deputy. Introduced by Councilmembers Inaba and Kirkowitz. This passed first reading on May 20th and second reading on June 3rd, and this is the third of 3 required readings and requires a 2/3 vote to pass.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 152 on third and final reading.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowitz, seconded by Councilmember Eustis to approve Bill 152 at third and final reading. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you. This is an important amendment to our charter that would establish a deputy county auditor within the Office of the County Auditor. Right now, the charter provides no mechanism to ensure that that function continues uninterrupted in the event of a vacancy, extended absence, or transition in the auditor's seat. And so a deputy position does close that gap. I want to thank Council Chair Inaba for collaboration on this measure and our colleagues for their continued support on this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Eustis.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to mahalo yourself and Councilmember Kirkowitz for bringing this measure forward for the possibility for voters to consider in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving Bill 152 at its third and final reading, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Bill 152 passes its third and final reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 156? Hearing none, Bill 156 amends Chapter 2, Article 25, Section 2-137 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2016 edition as amended relating to appropriation of funds to nonprofit organizations. Requires a nonprofit organization applying for county grant funds to certify under penalty of perjury that the organization has internal policies relating to management, audits, fiscal procedures, nepotism, and conflicts of interest. Introduced by Councilmember Inaba, first reading June 3, 2026.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 156 at second and final reading.
Moved by Councilmember Eustis, seconded by Vice Chair Onishi to approve Bill 156 at second and final reading. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving Bill 156 at second and final reading, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with 1 excused. Councilmember Villegas, Bill 156 passes second and final reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 160? Hearing none, Bill 160 amends Orders Number 2545 as amended the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2026. Appropriates revenues in the real property tax penalties account, $1,125,000, and appropriates same to follow to transfer to public access open space preservation accounts, fund, $1 million, and maintenance fund, $125,000. Introduced by Councilmember Connie Lee Kleinfelder by request, first reading June 3, 2026.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 160.
Moved by Councilmember Connie Lee Kleinfelder, seconded by Councilmember Eustis to approve Bill 160 at second and final reading. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Bill 160 is approved at second and final reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 161? Hearing none, Bill 161 amends orders number 25-45 as amended the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2026, appropriates revenues in the fund balance from previous year reserved account $443,775.57 and appropriates same to the following transfer to public access / open space preservation accounts. Fund $274,878.65, Maintenance Fund $40,457.41, and transfer to Disaster / Emergency Fund account $128,039.51. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request, first reading, June 3, 2026.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 161.
Moved by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder, seconded by Councilmember Eustace to approve Bill 161 its second and final reading. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Bill 161 is approved at second and final reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 166? Hearing none, Bill 166 amends orders number 25-50 as amended an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2016 edition as amended relating to transient accommodations, delays the effective date of orders number 25-50 related to transient accommodations until September 1, 2026, introduced by Councilmember Kimball, first reading June 3, 2026.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 166.
Moved by Councilmember Kimball, seconded by Councilmember Eustace to approve Bill 166 at second and final reading. Any discussion?
Chair, just ask for everyone's continued support to help us get this program started. I would also ask that all my colleagues do what they can if you have newsletters, on your website, whatever, to share out the extension of this registration date. I have been getting a number of inquiries. Both the planning department and the TAR website that Councilmember Kirkwitz and I developed earlier have been updated to reflect the extension of this start date out to September 1st, but there is a significant need for public communication and outreach, so I just ask for everyone's help on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kimball, if you wouldn't mind, if you have a flyer to send out to us regarding this registration, please send out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving Bill 166 at second and final reading, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Bill 166 is approved at second and final reading.
Is there any testimony for Bill 167? Hearing none, Bill 167 amends orders number 2545 as amended the operating budget of the County of Hawaii for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2026. Appropriates revenues in the Federal Grants Justice Assistance Grant Special Response Team Capability Enhancement Grant account $35,023 and appropriates the same to the Justice Assistance Grant Special Response Team Capability Enhancement account. Introduced by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder by request, first reading June 3, 2026.
Chair, motion to adopt Bill 167.
Moved by Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder, seconded by Councilmember Eustace to approve Bill 167 at second and final reading. All those in favor, please say aye.
Chair?
Oh, go ahead, Councilmember Connolly Kleinfelder.
Very briefly, I just want to point out we have a member of our police department who's been very patient in watching all of our meetings to date so far today. And he is here if there are any questions. So thank you for being here. Sorry we took this last, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you. If the member of the department would like to say anything, they can go ahead at this time.
He said he's okay. He just looks forward to us passing this bill, and maybe next time we could take him a little bit earlier.
Good, yeah, let us know next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor of approving Bill 167 at second and final reading, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. Bill 167 is approved at second and final reading. And then now back to Bill 157.
Is there any additional testimony for Bill 157, Draft 2? Hearing none, Bill 157, Draft 2 amends Chapter 7 of the Hawaii County Code 1983, 2016 edition as amended relating to disaster recovery, establishes a county disaster recovery program to coordinate short and long-term recovery efforts following major disasters led by a recovery officer appointed by the mayor with responsibility for recovery planning, interagency coordination, community engagement, funding management, and development of interim and long-term recovery and resilience plans, introduced by Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Chair, motion to approve Bill 157 on first reading.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowitz, seconded by Councilmember Eustis to approve Bill 157 at first reading. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to bring this bill forward. You know, the district I represent went through a number of disasters during my time in office, so many lessons learned, challenges overcome, ways in which we discovered government can and should be working with communities. So wanted to codify some of those principles so that if any community in the future ever goes through a devastating event and needs to mobilize a recovery function within the county, there is a framework, there is a guidebook to be able to do that. At this time, I would like to make a motion to amend Bill 157 with the contents of Communication 888.5.
Moved by Councilmember Kirkowitz, seconded by Councilmember Eustis to amend Bill 157 Draft 2 with the contents of Communication 888.5. Councilmember Kirkowitz.
Thank you, Chair. This is a housekeeping measure. If you recall, during committee, we did update the bill to move this function out of the Civil Defense Agency and into the Office of the Mayor, which provides a higher level kind of coordination piece that I think is really required for recovery. This makes that change within the purpose section so that the bill is nice and clean. Looking for everyone's support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of amending Bill 157 Draft 2 with the contents of Communication 888.5, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8 ayes with Councilmember Villegas excused. The Bill 157 has been amended. Any further discussion on the main bill? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of approving Bill 157 Draft 2 as amended at first reading, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries with 8 ayes and Councilmember Villegas excused. This brings us to the end of our agenda. Councilmember Eustis, announcements.
Thank you, Chair. It'll be a little while till we all are back together again for committee and council. So a lot of events going across the island, of course. And one I just wanted to highlight is the 4th of July Parker Ranch Rodeo on that Saturday. So look forward to all seeing you there. Thank you so much.
Any other
Chair.
announcements? Councilmember Kagiwara.
Thank you. Just want to remind everybody that Hawaii Island Pride is on Saturday, June 27th. The parade will be at 11 a.m. in downtown Hilo, followed by a festival at the bandstand area. Everybody is welcome, and it's very accepting, wonderful community event. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe that is all we have for today, folks. Our meeting of the Hawaii County Council is adjourned at 11:23 a.m. Mahalo.